Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode here in NHL 24. So in last episode, we had the season simulation with a little bit of a new looking team, and we still did really well, finishing 51-27-4. We did not win the President's Trophy though, which is kind of good because if we would have won the President's Trophy, I wouldn't have felt as safe about our chances of maybe winning a first round, but I think we might be able to beat Detroit. They are a pretty good looking team as well. They went 48-29-5, but obviously we haven't had the best luck in the playoffs, so I don't really know if our team's going to be good or not. But in general, during the regular season, our team was pretty good as they usually are. As you can see, Mauricio Wilm leading the team in points. He also had Lehman and Elastic, so the entire top line did very well. The second line, a little bit more on the quiet side of things, but still really solid in terms of like depth scoring. You also had like the third and fourth liners picking up points, so I think it was a really good year for the team, and I'm just hoping that obviously this translates into playoff success, which is something we never really had at this point. So hopefully we could get out of the first round and out of the second round even, and get ourselves to at least a conference finals this season. Especially with guys like Mauricio Wilm getting up there in age and Lehman getting up there in age, we want to win while those guys are still on our team, obviously, because if we lose one of them, that could definitely send us backward a little bit. But anyways, before we get into this first round matchup against the Detroit Red Wings, let's get into your guys' comments and see what you guys have to say about a regular season. So the first comment is from Saturn Otaku, who says, a nice balanced season from all players within the organization. Whether it translates into a long playoff run remains to be seen, but I'm more confident now than I was in the previous few seasons. Also, FBZ who? LOL. And yeah, I'm also a little bit more confident with this team because of the fact we didn't win the President's Trophy, because usually for some reason that President's Trophy is always a curse. We won it back-to-back seasons, and both times we did not have a deep run in the playoffs. So I'm hoping since we didn't win it this year, we have a better chance, because we were like the 7th best team, I think, in the entire NHL. Let me double check on that. Let's see if we go to entire league. Yeah, we were the 7th best team in the entire league, so that might give us a better opportunity. In terms of the Eastern Conference, we are the 4th best team, so being that low in the standings, so to speak, it should help us out quite a bit, because teams like Montreal might be first round exits, which would be really good. But watch, Montreal is going to win the cup after winning the President's Trophy, or actually after finishing second place, I mean, because LA actually finished first. LA was insane this season. The next comment is from Ezra Hambrook, who says, after 15 seasons in the NHL, the Halifax Raiders now hold a franchise record of 513, 638, and 79. Now let's hope that the Raiders can play well when it matters the most. No more first round exits. And thank you for that, Ezra. That's actually a pretty good record. It's starting to get much closer to being a 500 record. I remember when we were at that point where we were like, I think we had under 100 wins and we had already like 400 losses or something like that. So we are starting to find ourselves, at least regular season wise, it's just all about obviously translating that into playoff success. And then our last and final comment is from Ian.Nolov, who says, press conference time before the playoff stage. Number one, which of the players impressed you the most? Who were you dissatisfied with? That's an interesting question. So I'd say obviously the normal type of players I was very impressed with. So Wilm, Lehman, Lassick, that top line was great. The great plus minus, the great offensive production, everything about them. Who I was a little bit dissatisfied with, I'd say, is Ahinen a bit, because I thought he would have been able to do better even without Wilm. But he was minus 12 this season, so that was a little bit bad. His point production also dropped off, so a little bit him. Also a little bit on Del Rivera, but Del Rivera was playing third line in power plays, so I was kind of hoping a little bit more out of these two, but at the same time, they did help the production of a lot of the younger guys like Hamalainen. Weber, I was maybe a little bit displeased with as well, because usually he picks up a bit more points than that, and he was minus 8 as well. So there was a couple guys on that second line I'd say I was disappointed with, and maybe some of the third liners, but I think Del Rivera definitely helped the production with Hamalainen and guys like Habscheid. Number 2, what's the plan for the series with Detroit? Will Burkhoff be the main goaltender? Will McLaren, Sherov, and Mathieu play? So, yeah, goaltending-wise, we are definitely going to be starting with Burkhoff in the playoffs because he was technically a little bit better than Solis. But obviously, they both have a short leash in terms of who's actually going to be the starter for the entire playoff run. In terms of McLaren, Sherov, and Mathieu getting into the lineup, Mathieu might be getting into the lineup depending on if a guy in the bottom 6 is not performing that well. We might get Mathieu in for more defensive play. And then McLaren, probably not unless there's a defensive injury, because he was minus 6 in the regular season through only 12 or 14 games, something like that. Sharov could potentially get into the lineup, but it depends if the youngster like Anderson really struggles or Richter really struggles, somebody in the same position. So we'll see if we end up changing up some of our lines a little bit, but it really depends on how our players in our bottom six or bottom pairings play, and then we might replace them. Number 3, on paper, your team has a better chance of passing for the first round of the playoffs. What should your rivals do to beat a young, closed kid, maybe cloaked team of the Raiders? I don't know what he's trying to say with that closed kid part. But what should my rivals do to beat us? Basically, what they need to do to beat us, I'd say, is they need to obviously shut down our top line. And then they also need to take advantage of the fact that we do not have a lot of experience in net and also in general in terms of playoff runs. They know that we have a lack of experience. I believe Detroit has gotten far in the playoffs before. Let me actually take a look at the regular season numbers. How far have they gotten in the playoffs before? Yeah, see, they have had a lot more deeper runs because they went all the way to, I guess that's the Cup Finals in 2033. They would have also went to like the second round in 2035. But they also probably don't have that much experience, but they got to take advantage of the fact that we haven't really gotten much further than the first round before. Number 4, who became the rivals in the playoffs for the AHL team? Which team did Mason go to, who last year scored 40 goals in a season and asked for a big salary? So the AHL team, since they did make the playoffs, they are going to be taking on, let's see, Utica Comets. Okay, they're already up 1-0 in their series, and Addison has 2 points in one game, so shout out to Burnaby. Hopefully they could go on to win a Calder's Cup. That would be really nice for our prospect growth. And then he was also wondering about where Mason went, which I honestly forgot we even let go of Mason. I don't know why, but let's find out where Mason signed. If I go to player search, we'll see where he ended up going. Hopefully he didn't get too overpaid because of that 40-goal season. But watch, his production is going to drop off a cliff, and we would have dodged a bullet, I'm guessing, with his contract. So he signed with the Winnipeg Jets on a 3-year deal at $5.955, so not a terrible contract. It's not the most egregious, but his point production, it's not terrible. That's actually a decent season. Not as good, obviously, as last year. His goals dropped off by half. His points dropped off by a little bit, but he became more of a passer than a goal scorer this season. But yeah, to drop from 40 to 19 goals is pretty much back to where he was when he was with us earlier in this franchise mode series. And finally, Ian says, success to the team cohesion, and strong nerves to the head coach. Go Halifax, go Raiders. I appreciate that, Ian. And yeah, hopefully we can get out of this first round at least this season, and out of the second round too, because like I said, I want to get to a conference finals at least this year. Cup finals would definitely be the cherry on top, but obviously once we get to that point, we want to obviously win the Stanley Cup too. We can't just all of a sudden lose in the finals, because then that makes our draft pick worse and worse and all that type of thing. But anyways, let's get into this first round with the Detroit Red Wings and see if we're able to beat them this year. I hope that we can. We basically got to shut down their top line, I think, and then we have a chance. And then hopefully our goal scorers could get going, because usually our depth scoring in the playoffs seems to fall off quite a bit, and guys like Wilm don't do as well. So I'm hoping that Wilm can take a huge step up for our team this season. Anyways, game number 1 on home ice, because we will have home ice for advantage for a few rounds at least in this playoffs if we get past this first round. So first period of game number 1 on home ice. Let's see what happens. And 3-1 Detroit. No Burkhoff. Okay, well, we might already turn to the other goalie next game. Hamalainen opens the scoring with a power play goal early on, which is a great sign. But 3 unanswered goals. Messier, Ellington, and Ellington again. Shots are 14-9 in favor of Detroit. So that's a very bad period defensively. We need to be much better defensively if we want to win the series. Like I was mentioning before, we got to shut down their top guys, and I believe Ellington is one of them. So that is not ideal to start this series. Let's see if we can have a good response in the second period to maybe get ourselves back into this game. Second period. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Richter, Lassick, and De La Rivera. That's a huge second period. Might be one of the best second periods this team's ever had, because usually that's where we lose games. But we scored 3 unanswered of our own, and now we're leading 4-3. This is an interesting first game. I'm not, like I said, sold on our defensive play from that first period, but it was a good second period defensively, good second period offensively. And now we're out shooting 26-24, and we have the lead. Can we get some insurance in this third period and lock this game down? Come on, boys. Let's see what happens. And also, my computer's making a lot of noise, which is really, really annoying. But come on, boys. Hey, Will jumps on the goal scoring as well, make it 5-3. That's a good offensive performance from the boys. Can we lock the rest of this game down? We had a power play, but we didn't score on it. Final 5 minutes of the third period. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Final minute. And we are going to hold off Detroit coming back from a 3-1 deficit to win 5-3. That is a huge win for the boys. We got outshot 36-34. So after that first period, our goaltending was actually pretty good. So maybe I will keep with the young netminder. But anyways, let's look at these players' stats here. So Hamalainen from Lasik and Weber. Then we fell down 3-1. Looked like we were going to lose the game. But second period, the youngster Richter scores to get us back into the game from Flood and Haken. Lasik ties the game from Wilm and Lehman. Del Rivera gives us the lead from Sergeyev. And Wilm gives us the insurance from Lasik and Lehman. So that top line did really well. And then other lines actually produced as well. So we got good depth scoring when we needed it the most. And yeah, Lasik 3 points, Wilman Lehman both at 2 points, and a couple guys on 1 point. There was some -2 guys, which is not ideal. However, it could change in the next game. That was the second line. The second line always seems to be dealing with issues plus-minus wise. So if we are going to change anything, maybe it'll be the second line. Burkhoff, yeah, was actually really solid in that first game. That save percentage is good. And like I said, he didn't have the best first period, but afterwards he was pretty locked down. So I think he will start his second consecutive playoff game. And then we will probably, if he doesn't play good eventually, maybe we'll turn to Solis. But right now, not a bad performance. Obviously, we would like to be better defensively in the opening period, though. So hopefully we could do that in Game 2 and get ourselves that 2-0 series lead. So let's keep the team the exact same. We won Game 1. Let's see if we get off to a better start, though, at least in this second game. Come on, boys. First period of game number 2. And 2-0 Detroit. So another rough start for Burkhoff. He allows 2 goals in the first period. Letang and Raymond. So I'm not liking these first periods. But if we could get a response like we did last game, at least it wouldn't be that bad. But still, that's not fun trying to catch up in games all the time and trying to win them that way. So can we get back into this game in the second period like we did last game? Second period? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Nyes made it 3-0, but Richter scores a power play goal, so Richter's trying to spark the comeback, and Boys makes it a 3-2 game. So we were down 3-0, kind of similar to last game. We were down 3-1. Is there a way we could tie this game up in the third and get it to an overtime scenario, or even grab that lead for the first time in this one? Come on, boys. Let's see if we can get it done. Oh, I didn't want to do that. There you go. Now I have it set up properly. I don't know why I was trying to press X as the thing to speed up the game a little bit. Come on, boys, please. Let's tie this game up. Let's find that next one. Mauricio, I know you have goals in you. Lehman, Lasik, somebody on the team, maybe Ahinen. Hey, Richter again. Let's go. The rookie has 3 goals in this first round already, and he has tied the game up. But Axel Sandin Pelika gives Detroit the win in the final minute, 14 seconds. That's a bad goal to give up if you're Burkhoff. Well, that's not ideal. Another 1-goal sort of finish, because last game was kind of almost a 1-goal finish, but we almost came back from a 3-0 deficit to get it to an overtime, but unfortunately, the late goal wins it for Detroit. So Richter from Weber and Hamalainen, Boys from Del Rivera and Burkhoff, Richter again from Weber and Lasik. So I think I might change the goaltending situation. I might change the goaltending or the defensive core. Yeah, Burkhoff wasn't great in that game. And like I said, he had another rough first period. So I think I'm going to adjust some stuff a little bit. Like the offense between both these teams have been kind of evenish. They're outscoring us, I think, at this stage now, though, right? Hey, they have 4 goals. Last game they had 3. No, we're outscoring them 8-7 after 2 games. So it's been a pretty close series up to this point. Let's go to edit lines and see if we can maybe make some adjustments here. Even though it's a tie series, I don't want to have bad first periods like that, because it just seems to like always be a problem so far. So yeah, Burkhoff is rocking an 893, so we're gonna turn to Solis for the next game. And let me see, Richter's been great. I feel like I should move him higher in the lineup almost. But none of these guys are really suited for a 4th line role. Habscheid's not been that great. Let's try Habscheid as a fourth liner. Richter's going to get an elevated role because he was really solid. We're going to probably put him on the second line with Hämäläinen and Ahinen because those two guys have kind of struggled a bit. Weber is going to go down to third line, and the rest of that will stay the same. Defensively, oh boy. Our top pairing has really struggled, so we are going to split up the defensive pairing of Sea-Doo and Kolesnik, even though it gets rid of the +5, just to maybe balance out the defensive play a little bit more. And I think that should be good. We might get Mathieu into our lineup too as well at some point, just to help us out with the defensive play. But for right now, it's only a tie series. We could still win 1 or 2 games in Detroit to get us into a good chance to win the series. So let's see if we can get a good response in the next game and hopefully a better first period, because a better first period would be the start of maybe being able to actually play respectable, because I didn't like our first period in both these last 2 games. So let's see if we can have a good first period of our own in Detroit now as we head over to Little Caesars Arena. First period of game number 3. And again, we have a bad first period, even with the goaltending and defensive changes. I don't really know what to make of our team because, I mean, I think we've had some good offensive production so far, but the way we're just not off to a good start in each game, I don't really know what the problem is, because we've even made some adjustments with our goaltending, with our defensive core, with our forward core. But Letang and Raymond score again, so their top 6 has been really good so far at this point, so we need to find a way to contain that if we want to be able to claw back into the series. Can we have a good second period here and maybe come back in this game like we did in game 1? Second period. Oh my goodness, 4-0 Detroit. Okay, Solis is not doing too well either, which is not ideal. Doig and Messier score, and it looks like this is going to be the first game where it is going to be a blowout for one team. I'm trying to think of what we want to do next game to readjust things. We might have to just rework our top 6 and spread out the offense a little differently, because now our offense is getting suffocated by Devin Levi, who didn't have the best first game, but has been much better since. Yep, we lose 4-0. We had 35 shots on goal, which was more shots than they had, but we still end up losing. Was there any really badly minus guys in this game? Because maybe that will help me in terms of line adjustments. There was a couple, okay. And it was mainly, oh my goodness, Akin has been terrible defensively. And then, yeah, Kolesnik is always -2, which is not great. So we need to rework some things around because something is not working with this team. So I think we're going to get Mathieu in. We're probably going to scratch one of the younger guys, which might sound like a dumb move to do, but at the same time, it should make us a better defensive team. And hopefully that's able to help us contain their top line a bit more. So Habscheid's going to come out of the lineup, and Mathieu will get in, and hopefully he gains morale for playing in the lineup a little bit. I think we're also going to rework our top 6 a bit here. We're going to go back to Lehman, Ahinen, and Wilm. We haven't had the law line together in a while. We'll probably throw Lassick to the left side. We'll probably put Del Rovere down the middle with Hämäläinen. Weber will play with Richter down the middle because he's actually a center. Sergeyev, and then Anderson, Haken, and Mathieu. Defensively, we will... Ooh. We will swap Booze and Boys out there on the top pairing. Sea-Doo and Kolesnik, even though they've both been bad defensively, we'll keep them as a second pairing defenseman instead. We'll give them less ice time. And then hopefully Booze and Boys do a little bit better. Paco and Flood have been okay. Flood's actually a plus, which is kind of surprising. And then, yeah, goaltending-wise, we are probably going to go back to Burkhoff because Solis was very tragic in that game. So, a little bit of changes, and we'll see if that's able to get our team a little bit more of a response. Obviously, dropping Lassick to the second line is kind of a choice, but I think it will help in terms of maybe spreading out the offense a little bit because he was doing well. We want Wilm to obviously help carry that top line a little bit more, and hopefully Ahinen can get going because, like I said, his plus-minus has been pretty atrocious, I'm pretty sure, at this point. So this is a must-win game. I don't want to go down 3-1 or else we're going to have to win 3 straight games, which is doable, but it's also very tough. So can we get a big response in this game? We've had bad first periods in 3 straight games. Can we have a good first period for a change? And can our offense get going? First period of game number 4. And we're scoreless. Okay, that's a better defensive period. We did outshoot them 12-4 though, so they didn't really have a lot of chances to score goals, and we weren't able to score a goal. We have not scored a goal now in 4 straight periods, which is a bit concerning. So hopefully the offense can find itself a bit in the second period. Come on, boys. Second period. 2-2. I will take that, I guess. Nyes makes it 1-0 Detroit, but Lehman and Del Rivera score for us. Ellington ties the game up. Shots are 26-15, so Burkov is kind of struggling a bit. He hasn't faced a lot of shots, but it's a tie game. We need to find a way to get that lead and win this game, or else, like I said, we need to win 3 straight. Third period underway. Let's see if we can get it done. Come on, boys. We can get it done. I know we have the experience, kind of. Let's go, Felipe Flood. I know a lot of people don't like your contract, but he does score a huge goal here in the third, but it's answered back by Detroit again with Goddard. Come on, boys. Yes, Lassick. Lassick gives us back that lead again. It's been a flip-flop between both teams in terms of goal scoring. Can we hold them off? Yes, we can. We barely escaped that one, 4-3. Much better offensive effort, and we are tied at 2. So this might be a series that goes to 7 games. Final shots were 39-25, so not impressed with Burkov really in that game, but I am impressed with the fact that our team was able to get that win. Like I said, it was a kind of a flip-flop in terms of goal scoring. Lehman from Wilm and Del Rivera from Hamalainen and Lassick, Flood from Wilm and Lassick from Hamalainen. So Lassick definitely helping out the goal scoring on that second line, it seems like, which is kind of what I was hoping for by spreading out the offense a little bit. Let me take a look at Ahinen's stats. Was he minus? He was minus again. God damn, man. This guy's minus every single game right now. He needs to be much better. He needs to be much better defensively, because if he's going to be minus every single game, that's not ideal. But we do have a tie series now, which is good. There has been at least 2 games that have been by 1 goal, so we could technically be up 3-1 at this point if it wasn't for this one game, but we had a bad period again in the first, and that really hurt us. So, I still don't really know what to make of our team, but I feel like we might be able to go to a game 7 in the series, but the question is, are we going to be able to get to that next round? So, can we take a 3-2 series lead? We're back on home ice. We're going to keep the team the exact same since we just came off a win. Let's see if we can take our first lead of the series since we won game 1. First period. 3-2 for us. So a great first period in terms of offense for us at the beginning. But then we allowed 2 late goals from Messier and Rossi to get Detroit back into this game, which I don't like. 2 goals on 7 shots. Our goaltending needs to be much, much better. We have never found ourselves a goaltender that could play good in the playoffs, so it seems like. But Hamalainen, Lassick, and Sergeyev have our goals, so guys I wasn't really expecting. Shots are 17-7. How are we only up by a goal? I have no idea. Can we get some insurance in the second period to make me feel a little bit safer going into the third? Second period, 5-2. There we go. Wilman Booze, and we are a period away from taking that series lead back. Shots 36-16, so we're dominating the flow of this game, but Detroit is still kind of hanging around a bit, which is kind of scary. Let's see if we can just lock this game down in the third and play good defensively. Penalty kill, and they get a power play goal from Letang to make it 5-3. Come on, Burkov, hold them off. Oh my goodness, Rossi scores to make it 5-4. Burkov, please. Penalty kill. Stop taking penalties, boys, in this third period. Final 5 minutes. Please hold them off. And we are going to hold them off, thankfully, as the rookie Richter. I forgot to move my head over, but oh well. Does score to get that empty net goal, and we win 6-4 with the final shots 46-31, and we only won by 2 goals. Yeah, our goaltending is definitely our problem right now, I think, in our defensive play maybe. But holy crap, at least we won that game, and now we're 1 win away from going to round 2, which is great, but we're barely scraping by here in this first round. So Hamalainen from Del Rivera, Lassick from Del Rivera and Hamalainen, Sergeyev from Haken and Anderson. So Anderson picks up his first playoff point. Booze from Weber and Boys. Wilm from Lehman and Lassick. And the empty netter is Richter from Weber. 3 stars of the game. Rossi for them, Hamalainen for us, and Wilm the 3rd star. Okay. So we're 1 win away from going to the next round. And no! No. Oh. Well, I saw the notification first, but I didn't realize it was going to be that long term. Maddox Boys has been injured with post-concussion syndrome out till July 25th, which means his season is completely over. Well, that's going to hurt a lot. He is a pending free agent as well, so this could have been one of his last games here in Halifax, but oh boy. We're going to have to make some adjustments here. That means McLaren's going to come in. I'm glad I at least signed McLaren, but or I could call up Mangone or one of the guys from the AHL if we get to round 2. Right now, I think I'm going to leave it as just a McLaren in, but if we get to round 2 and you guys want me to call up somebody to replace him, there is an abundance of options. We have Hartnell, we have Cracknell, we have Fragapane, Mangone, Bursch. We could reach into the pool of defensemen if we want to. We'll go with Kolsnik and Booze, I think. Yeah, we'll go with Kolsnik and Booze. Oh boy. We'll probably go with Paco. No, not Paco. Flood? Yeah, Flood and Sea-Doo, Paco and McLaren. And since Boys was on the power play, we're going to have to rework that a little bit too. I don't know if I want McLaren there, but he is a two-way defenseman, so it might be okay to keep him there. Yeah, you know what? McLaren's going to get a big opportunity in that spot. Like I said, he's a two-way defenseman, so might as well give him some more ice time with that. He's probably going to be on the second penalty kill, which is okay. Yeah, it doesn't look terrible. But, damn, man, that's a massive blow to this team. I mean, Boys doesn't do a whole lot, but still, he's an 85 overall defenseman that we just lost for the rest of the playoffs, as our AHL team has made it to round 2. They have taken out Utica in 5 games, and they'll take on Laval in the second round, who swept their first round, apparently. Okay. And, yep, as I expected, the Montreal Canadiens are out in round 1. So the President's Trophy curse is a real thing. They won their first game, I think, but then they dropped 4 straight and lost in 5. So technically, we might be one of the best teams available still. But the question is, can we knock out Detroit and get ourselves to that next round now? Let's keep the team the exact same, and hopefully McLaren can do well for us and get us to that second round. If McLaren scores a game-winning goal, that would be amazing. But yeah, losing Boys is going to hurt us, especially with containing their top guys. So I am very skeptical about how this team's going to do going forward, but we got to hope that we could cheese our way to that next round and beyond. So here we go, Game 6. Can we close out Detroit and get ourselves to round 2? First period of Game 6. 3-1 us. Let's go, offense. That's exactly how you want to start it off. Layman Sergeyev make it 2-0. Rossi gets them back within 1, but a short-handed goal from Kolsnik. Let's go. Shots are 14-6 in favor of us. We're up by 2 goals. Can we get some insurance in the second period? Second period? Oh my goodness. Okay, now I'm a little scared. Wilm scores 2 goals to make it 5-1. One is a short-handed goal, one was a power play goal. So 2 short-handed goals in this game for our team. But then we give up 2 goals from Chimera and Doig. And Detroit is back in this game again, kind of like last game where they were hanging around. Shots are 25-15, but we've allowed 3 goals on 15 shots. So our goaltending has been very bad so far, but maybe it'll find itself in the round 2 if we actually get there. So can we hold off Detroit from coming back in this game? Come on, boys. Just get me some insurance. Let's do this for Maddox. Let's go, Layman. That's a huge one to make it 6-3. There's Wilm with another goal to make it 7-3. I think we have enough now. Kolsnik makes it 8-3. I guess we didn't have enough. Final 10 minutes of this third period. What an offensive performance from the guys here in Game 6. But goaltending still a big question mark. We are going to be headed to round 2 for the first time in what feels like a long-ass time. Let's go. 8 goals on 33 shots. And Devin Levi was in net for every single one of those goals. Jeez. Well, we completely dominated that game, which is great, but they did hang around a little bit too long. So Wilm will have a hat trick in this game. So Layman from Ahinen, Sergeyev from Richter and Weber, Kolsnik from Anderson and Del Rivera, Wilm from McLaren and Layman, Wilm from Ahinen and Hamalainen, Layman from Ahinen and Wilm from Ahinen and Sea-Doo, Kolsnik from Ahinen and Wilm. I think Wilm had a 5-point game, which exactly is what the doctor ordered. Ahinen also had a 5-point game, 5 assists. That's what I need from Ahinen. Better defensively and a lot of offense. Him and Wilm went completely off. That's exactly what we needed. Layman on 3 points. So the original line, so the original top line did very, very well, and hopefully they continue that. Kolesnik had 2 goals in this game as well, playing 28 minutes, and a bunch of guys on 1 point. There was only 6 players without a point in this game, and one of them was Lassick, which is kind of a surprise. Goaltending-wise, Burkhoff once again not the best, but at least he got the W. 3 stars in the game. Wilm the first star, Ahin in the second star, and Lehman the third. Really good to see that top line back together again and producing in the playoffs when it matters most. Okay, so before we see who we're going up against in round 2, let's take a look at our player stats for the playoffs. So far, offense has been good, but we need to definitely be better defensively and goaltending-wise. Wilm on 10 points in 6 games. That's exactly what you need from a franchise player. He is starting to play more like that guy we need him to. His most in the playoffs before this was 16 and 13. He is already on pace to completely crush that. And our power play has been really good so far in the playoffs. It looks like 4 points in 2 games, or not 2 games, in 6 games. And he also had a short and a goal too. So good start for the playoffs for Wilm. Richter on 5 points is great. He had 4 goals, so that rookie has been great. Ahinen on the 5 assists in just that last game alone is okay, but the -4 is not ideal. Anderson on 2 points +1 is exactly kind of what he needs to do. Lassick on 8 points, Lehman on 7 points, Hamalainen on 7 points. So there is some very good offensive production from some of these guys. Weber on 6 points, Haken on 2, Habscheid on nothing and 3. Del Rivera 7 points, Sergeyev 3 points, and Mathieu had nothing but was a -1. Okay, yeah, very impressed with the depth scoring on a couple of guys. Obviously, the defense is where we need to be much better. Kolesnik was a -5. Both of his 2 goals came in that last game. Boys had 2 points. Flood had 2 points and +5. So Felipe Flood, I know you guys hate his contract, but he was great defensively. Boys was solid as well. McLaren had an assist in his only game and was +2. So hopefully Daniel McLaren could be a great project that replaces Boys while he is out with his injury. Like I said, he won't be back this entire playoffs. Sea-Doo was kind of tragic defensively as well, so we need more out of our defensive defensemen. And Paco was also +4. Not bad. Another thing that might be a cause for concern on our defensive core is the fact we only have 1 right defenseman. Maybe that's something that we need to look into. And then goaltending-wise, yeah, our goaltending needs to be much better in round 2. So hopefully it is much better, because that would definitely go a long way if our offense stayed the same and our defense improved. The question is, who are we going to be playing in round 2? Is it a team we've played before? Is it a team we could beat? Cardwell was already in, so that's okay. Who is it going to be? It is going to be the New York Islanders. Interesting. We've never played the Islanders in the playoffs before. They were a team that won 41, 31, and 10. So they might be a cheese team, but there's also a realistic shot that we might be able to get to the conference finals based on that. The Rangers are also taking on the Penguins, and you have the Blues and Jets, and then the Kings and the Flames. Let's see how the AHL team's doing in their playoff round right now in the second round. I'm curious if they're up on the Laval Rocket or not. They are tied at 1. Okay, coming off an OT loss. But the Islanders took out whoever they played in the first round in only 5 games, despite being an average team in the regular season and not too good going into the playoffs. So they must be a good team that actually under-simmed, and then they're going to be very good in the playoffs. That's my guess. Let's see. So here is the Islanders, and that's pretty much exactly what I was expecting. Some really bad depth, though. Holy crap. So top line, Olli Korhonen was drafted by them. Matt Savoy and Mr. Tristan Robbins, so that's an interesting top line. Second line, Ryan Rubrick. Okay. Former 5th overall pick of the Preds. Cadman Gove and Jacques Leclerc. So that top 6 is pretty good. But then this is where you start getting a little bit weak. Dorian Chance is good. He was a 3rd overall pick, but he's playing 3rd line minutes, which is not great. But he has a 73 as his line mate, which is very weird. So their center depth falls off completely from 2nd to 3rd line. Also, their right wing depth falls off quite a bit too with Emil Heineman. And then our 4th line is basically AHLers. Robert Bengtsson, Stanislav Punovs, and Wesley Bathgate. So, based on offensive depth, they have some very good stud players, but there's a bunch of players in their bottom six that are not very good. Defensively, oh ho 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 ho, Dimitra. That's where you signed, man. I completely forgot we let him go too. But Carson Lambos and Marian Dimitra. So of course we have to go through our former defender. He had an okay season there with the Islanders. Actually a career high it looks like, but it was a -9. So far in the playoffs, he's a +4 with 1 goal. So there's Marian Dimitra, our former defenseman. They also have Marco Heikkinen, Nicholas Recchi, Lucas Cormier, and Daryl Seal. Yeah, that defensive core is not very good on paper, so they must be paying a lot of money to like a goaltender or somebody's injured. Callie Klang and Alexandre Desjardins. Both these guys are probably not getting paid a lot, right? Not too much. Still, they're goaltending a little bit weak. And then you have Samuel Kanaziko, Topi Niemela, and Neil Konopka. These guys shouldn't be getting... Oh, wow, this guy's getting paid a lot. Okay, so they have some money tied up on their depth. I'm curious on who is going to make a lot of money here. $10 million on Korhonen, $7 million on Savoie. Robbins is on 4. Rubrick is on 13. Okay, so I can see why they're a little bit cap constrained. 13 because of Rubrick. Gove is on 5.3. 7.6 to Leclerc is an 84. Yikes. 6.8 there. Also on Heineman is pretty bad. Chance is on 7. Yeah, I can definitely see why they're up against the cap and why they have to play these weaker guys. And then on the defensive front, yeah, Dimitra got paid 5.8. I don't think he's worth 5.8, but I could be wrong with that. 4 on Recchi as well. And then also a shit ton on Cormier. Wow, yeah, they're paying a lot of money to everybody on their teams, so that's definitely why their depth isn't as good as we were expecting. But let's take a look at how they did during the regular season and so far during the playoffs, and then that'll be it for this episode. And hopefully, since they're not that great of a team, we have a better chance to get to that conference finals this year for the first time in franchise history, and hopefully a cup finals too. But let's take a look at, let's just go Eastern Conference and make it a little bit easier. So we were 4th place. They were the 8th seeded team that made it into the playoffs. They scored 3.63, which is almost as much as us, so their offense was pretty good. Their defensive play, though, on the other hand, was very bad, 3.52. Their power play percentage was better than ours, which is probably why their offense was good. And then their penalty kill was worse than ours. So we're a better defensive team and offensive team, but they're actually pretty good offensively, at least regular season-wise. How about playoff-wise? Curious on how they've been doing so far in terms of that. Let's see. I'll go Eastern Conference again, might as well. Okay, so they took out their opponent in 5 games. They were scoring 4 goals a game, so their offense has been good. Defense has been better than ours, too. Their power play has been worse, and their penalty kill has been tragic, too. So they've been a good defensive team, but not on the penalty kill. So I think we might have a realistic shot to go to the conference finals, but we could get cheesed in the second round. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Halifax Raiders Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the second round against the New York Islanders as we look to go to the conference finals for the first time in franchise history, either against the Rangers or the Penguins. Say anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.